Welcome, Father Gregory. It's so good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. So my name is Gian Ramirez, and I'm here with my favorite Uncle Danny and our very great and longtime friend, Father Gregory from Mustard Seed Communities. This year has been a whirlwind, and many aspects of life are much different throughout the world, the US, and Greater Lowell. Getting together virtually seems to be 2020's new norm, so I'm happy we were able to do this and support you, Father Gregory. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well. How is everyone in Lowell doing?
We're all doing very well, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, God bless you all. Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
Yes. Hi, Gianna, and hi, Father Gregory. For the first time in 40 years since your grandfather, my dad, Big Dan, along with Uncle Al Lenzi, began celebration of life, we're unable to have an in-person gathering in Lowell to support Father Gregory in the work of Mustard Seed. So, as Gianna said, we thought we'd offer a brief conversation virtually with Father Gregory so that you, our supporters, can hear from him directly how things are with the children and why he needs our help more than ever. So, Father Gregory, first, how are you? And then can you tell us how the children are faring through this pandemic?
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of you in Lowell, especially Gianna and Danny and the younger generation, for doing this, for allowing me to speak to others and all those who joined in future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Danny is correct. Over 35 years ago, we had a nice dinner with Gloria Leahy and his father, and look what it has come to 35 years. And it's only today I was reading something on Harry Belafonte, and he reminded me very much it is Dan Leahy that brought Belafonte into our lives. So in Jamaica, we're doing not as badly as we could because, things are uh, with us at the moment, or cases are not as high as other parts of the world. However, our children, one of our kids went to the hospital and they got the COVID in the hospital. So we had to bring the child home. We have a separated, secluded place to put the child. And a
Mhm.
few of our employees, because most of our employees, we have 500 of them, they live in inner city and they live in tenement yards and they have to travel by public transport. So a couple of the employees, the caregivers, contracted the outside, but thankfully they let us know they didn't return to Mustard Seed until their 14-day quarantine. And I must tell you that two employees, when they heard one of our kids got the virus, do you know, they were free from the virus. They volunteered to come and stay with a child in the secluded place in Jacob Ladder. So there we are with two volunteers without the disease, like frontline workers, and
Mhm.
that's what we are doing as far as the pandemic is concerned at the moment.
Thank you for sharing that, Father Gregory. One thing I'm curious about too is just, given how the pandemic has impacted Mustard Seed's ability to provide for the children, um, can you elaborate on how they're providing both when it comes to their means of survival, but their basic resources for being able to learn remotely? Because I know that a lot goes in to giving the children so many different resources. So, how has that been affected? But also, with the mission trips and the stream of volunteers all being on hold since last March, yeah, how is everything faring in that regard?
Well, thank you for asking, Gina. And I would like to tell you that, first of all, the volunteers, there are three ways that we miss the volunteers. One, the kids depend on seeing these volunteers. They're like family, year after year after year. Some of the volunteers have been coming for 10 years. Some of them came when they were school children and now they're probably married. So, the, it's a big, big lacuna. It's a big drift from what these kids are now. And they see no other friends except these people who come to see them. Number one. Number two, when the volunteers came, in the past up to February of this year, they would bring much needed things for the kids, like pampers or books and pens, and because we still have to try to get the kids learning, all of that is gone. Things like medicine, like vitamins and all these things, nothing coming again. So we have to figure out how to find ways of getting that. The
Mhm.
third way we miss the volunteers is many volunteers, even the young ones, come with a skill. Maybe physiotherapy or maybe teaching. And what happens is not only does it teach our children, it gives our staff a little break because our staff get to get a little time for themselves, but they also learn from the volunteers that are coming. So those are very serious ways in which we lose track or we've missed our volunteers. And I'll talk about the finances later, but those are some of the ways where we really hope we could hurry up with this thing and get the volunteers back.
We know that the children and the caregivers really benefit from the interaction from so many visitors and volunteers. And I know that firsthand, having been there numerous times in
Mm-hmm.
several of the different sites. So it sounds like it's been very tough. You did mention the finances because we heard that Mustard Seed took a hit, like something well over $2 million from the revenue that did not come in from the mission trip. So what does that mean in terms of the care for the children?
Oh my. Well, in my mind, sometimes that comes foremost because, we have to have the children have to eat every day. They have to get medicine. They have to go to the doctor, things like that. I think it's about $2 or $3 million
Wow.
we got a hit this year. Now we all know about thinking of next year too, because this thing won't just go away at the end of December. And we to buy sometimes you may have to borrow money in order to buy the necessities of what the children need. That's our biggest thing. Would you believe we're talking Jamaica here, but in Zimbabwe, where we have a lot of children also, the demand for feeding of the kids on the dump have doubled overnight. So what has happened is, and it takes $1 to make a meal for a child on the garbage. They eat nothing except what we give them. And overnight, nothing. So the money, the financial part, not only helps in Jamaica, of course, it helps in the other countries in Africa and so, and it is just devastating. I can't put my head around where we'll get help. But every penny counts. If our friends in Lowell sends whatever they can to us through Mustard Seed in Medfield, every penny counts. As I said, $1 a day makes a deal for a kid for a whole day. So you could imagine what some money can do to us. That's where we are at the moment.
Oh my gosh. Hearing what these children have been through and what they're constantly dealing with is just so heartbreaking. You've done so much for them, Father Gregory, but I think the most amazing thing that you've told us and that I've always remembered over the years is that the children inspire you. You say that their faith is still so strong during these hard times and that they're actually praying for us. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, thank you for asking that because that's one of my big reasons for being with the children. This morning at Mass, we were offering Mass for Brandon and who is ill and so on. And I told him, I said, "Are you handicapped or are you disabled?" He said, "I am neither," which was so beautiful. We're the handicapped ones. I depend on these children. They inspire me to go further and further and further. When you see one child with a wheelchair, as though the child owns a house, that's a big deal. When you see a child goes to hospital and knows that there'll be a visitor there to bring some food to the hospital for that child, when they pray for you, they pray for us as though, well, they say, yeah, daddy and mommy, they call us that. They call the caregivers mommy or auntie. And that is the inspiration. And this happens in all the countries we are in. The children have nowhere to go except to us. Otherwise, they will end up on the garbage heap, literally so. And if Christ was with us, where would he be? He would probably be on the garbage heap or with these children. So your help, Gina and Danny and the rest of you, you're not just helping kids, you're helping the most needy of the needy kids. That inspires me.
Yeah. Gregory, when I hear these stories and I see the pictures from the slideshows and all the stories that we see from Mustard Seed that are on Mustard Seed Facebook, it is uplifting and it does something to my soul. And I know that I put requests in on Thursday to the Thank You Thursday prayer
Uh-huh.
request link. And so
Mhm.
I always feel better knowing that these little angels are praying for us. So um, and lastly, we're all going through this pandemic. It's worldwide and it's unique. It's a similar challenge, but it's unique to many people. Do you have any thoughts or advice for us in the Greater Lowell area, how we can continue to survive during this pandemic?
Oh, well, I would first like to say that Christ offers victory in disaster. COVID. Now, the big thing is wherever in the world we are, we keep in mind the beginning and the end of everything is our God. And I find because the kids pray with me, because they pray on their own 3 or 4 times a day in the adoration room, wherever, they set me an example to tell you. I am convinced that staying close to God in our heart, however we do it, is probably the most interesting but effective thing all of us should be doing around the world. Christ offers victory in disaster. Number two, I would like you to pray also in your prayers, not just for your family, but for us who are part of your family, as we do for you. And try your best. If you see someone in need next to you, your neighbor, wherever it is, reach out because you don't know who is either lonely or hungry. They're the two things that pull us together: hunger, loneliness. And I would like to ask you to do that. Don't be afraid to keep in touch with us through letter or emails or whatever. Even if you send a birthday card to a child you remember, or the Metfield office might give you the birthday, they would love that. Would you believe it? Even if it's an e card, it does not matter. That kind of being in contact, I think, will be fantastic for the kids here. This is what makes them who they are. They feel they're somebody because people realize that they are somebody. And those are the things I would like you to help with. And finally, if you have it in you to give in any way you can, uh, a donation to help us. And as I said, $1 makes a difference. We would be very helpful. But more importantly, is keeping close to the Lord for us and for yourselves.
Thank you so much, Father Gregory. I think that is very reasonable for us to keep these children in our thoughts and our prayers and take some
Ah,
time to obviously donate, but just reflect on what they're going through and
yes.
just keep them in our thoughts. But I'm so happy that we're able to see you over FaceTime today.
Thank
And
you.
I know we can't be in person. So many people look forward to the Last for Love event every year, but at least we were able to meet this way. So thank you again. And thank you to the many caregivers who really love and support so many of these vulnerable children. As you say, the children so often teach us and inspire us and help us find our own inner strength. For those of you listening, there are many examples of this on Mustard Seed Community's Facebook and their social media outlets. So please feel free to tune in and check them out.
Yeah, and that's where we'd like to direct our friends. We hope that you'll continue to support this important work. So go to mustardseed.com/last for love and donate directly online. And remember that a $25 donation will provide 6 meals for a child. A $60 donation can provide 100 diapers for residents. A $100 donation can provide 3 days of care for a resident. And if you're in a position to do more for the children, it's most certainly welcomed and very much needed during these very challenging times. But whatever you choose to or can give to help these children, we are grateful. And you can reach Gianna or me if you have any questions at all. So thank you, Gianna. Thank you, Father Gregory. And thank you to our donors and supporters. For your help, we are so, so grateful. So thank you all. And we ask you to please share this with family and friends if you can.
And
Thank you.
thank you, everybody, also, Gianna and Danny, and all our friends and family in the Lowell area. God bless you all and bless us. Thank you.
Thank you.